Woo-wee. I hope all has been well, loves. Yeah, let's get started on the 4-hour work week. Last time we stopped in the middle of chapter 8. Chapter 8 seems to be a long chapter. I did go and look to see how long the reading time was on the book, just so you all can have an idea. And it is about 10 hours. Okay? So we've been putting in some work a little at a time. I don't know about you, but I don't have 5 hours to always sit and listen to things in one setting. So we're going to get started and go from there. All right? Excuse me. All right. I am dressed down today. I've got my shorts on. I've been outside most of the day and inside a little bit. And it was 76 degrees here in the Sleepy City. Yeah. All right, let's get to it. I've already got it brought up, so we don't waste any time. Okay. Special shout out to my mom. She helped me out today when I ran into a conflict yesterday, so I'm very appreciative. Give thanks for where it is due. All right. So we ended at solo versus support team, where he was talking about he does not like being dependent on one person, and that he does not recommend it at the least. It's nice to have a team. I've worked by myself quite a bit, but I've been in a few teams. But sometimes that's not always feasible, depending upon certain circumstances, to have a team. Okay. So we're starting with the number one fear. Sweetheart, did you buy a Porsche in China? I'm sure you might have your fears. AJ certainly did. My outsourcers now know an alarming amount about me. Not just my schedule, but my cholesterol, my infertility problems, my social security number, my passwords, including the one that is particularly adolescent curse words. Sometimes I worry that I can't piss off my outsourcers, or I'll end up with a $12,000 charge on my MasterCard bill from Louis Vuitton and an Instapar. The good news is that misuse of financial and confidential information is rare. In all of the interviews I conducted for this section, I could find only one case of information abuse, and I had to search long and hard. It involved an overworked US-based VA who hired freelance help at the last moment. Commit to memory the following. Never use the new hire. Prohibit small operation VAs from subcontracting work to untested freelancers without your written permission. The more established and higher-end firms, brickwork in the below example, have security measures that border on excessive and make it simple to pinpoint abusers in the case of a breach. Employees undergo background check and sign NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, in accordance with the company policy of maintaining confidentiality of client information. Electronic access card for entry and exit, credit card information keyed only by select supervisors. Removal of paper from the offices is prohibited. VLAN-based access restrictions between different teams. This ensures there is no unauthorized access of information between people of different teams in the organization. Regular reporting are printer logs, floppy drives, and USB port disabled. BS 779 certification for accomplished international security standards. 128-bit encryption technology for all data exchange. Secure VPN connection. I bet there is a fair chance that sensitive data is 100 times safer with brickwork than on your own computer. Still, information that theft is best thought of as inevitable in a digital world, and precautions should be taken with damage control in mind. There are 2 rules that I use to minimize damage and allow for fast repair. Never use debit cards for online transactions or with remote assistance. So what are you talking about? I use my debit card for everything. Reversing unauthorized credit card charges, particularly with American Express, is painless and near instantaneous. Recovering funds withdrawn from your checking account via unauthorized debit card use takes dozens of hours in paperwork alone and can take months to receive if approved at all. I mean, I can see where it's coming from. I don't have any credit cards. I paid all mine off. I don't own one, never reapplied for one. That's not something I'm too much welcoming right now. Maybe in the future, but for right now. So, well, you can't use something that you don't have. So, but that is good advice to notate for the future. If your VA will be assessing websites on your behalf, create a new unique login and password to be used on those sites. Most of us reuse both logins and passwords on multiple sites, and taking this precaution limits possible damage. Instruct them to use these unique logins to create accounts on new sites if needed. Okay. Know that this is particularly important when using assistants who have access to live commercial websites, developers, programmers, etc. If information or identity theft hasn't hit you, it will. Man. So for those of us who think we're trying to get away from it and that we extra careful, you can't be careful enough, you can't get away from it. So have everything in order. Use these guidelines and you realize when it happens that just like most nightmares, it's not that big a deal and it is reversible. You know what? I got mail coming to the house for somebody who has a name close to me, but it's not my name. We're not even the same age in court documents. And I looked and said, that's not my name. And it was a subpoena. It was 2 subpoenas that came, and I put return to sender on them. I said, whoever did this, it was a credit card company that I've never heard of. I said, that's not me. return this to sender, and whoever's working for that company, that credit card company, I did place one call and nobody called me back. I said, well, that's not really my problem. I'm not that person. That's not even my date of birth. Date of birth, never had that address. So, very easy to do. And all the mail that comes to the house where they think it's me that doesn't have my name and it's similar, I just go ahead and put return to sender on it. Y'all deal with that. I'm not going through that. Okay. The complicated art of simplicity. Common complaints. My assistant is an idiot. It took him 23 hours to book an interview. This was the first complaint I had for sure, 23 hours. I was heated for a shouting match. My original email to this first assistant seemed clear enough. Dear Abdul, here are the first tasks due at the end of Tuesday. Please call or email me with any questions. Go to this article, some Newsweek MSNBC article. Get the phone, email, website contacts for Carol Milligan and Mark and Julie Skeasley, Szekely. Also find the same info for Rob Long here, msnbc.msn.com, Newsweek again. Schedule a 30-minute interview for Carol, Mark, Julie, and Rob. usemyevents.com. Oh, good. I was looking at how to schedule the other day. That's awesome. Snapshot. Okay. I had checked out a few sites. This is the username and password to book them in my calendar for next week, anytime between 9 to 9 Eastern Time. Find the name, email, and phone. Phone is least important of workers in the U.S. who have negotiated remote work agreements, telecommuting despite resistant bosses. Those who have traveled outside the U.S. are ideal. Other keywords include teleworking, telecommunicating. The important fact is that they negotiated with difficult bosses. Please send me links to their profiles or write a paragraph describing why they fit the profile above. Look forward to seeing what you can do. Please email if you don't understand or have questions. Best, Tim. The truth is, I was at fault. This is not a good debut demand, and I made fatal mistakes even before composing it. If you are an effective person, but unaccustomed to issuing commands, assume that most problems at the outset are your fault. It is tempting to immediately point the finger at someone else and huff and puff, but most beginner bosses repeat the same mistakes I made. Number 1, I accepted the first person the firm recommended and made no special request at the outset. Request someone who has excellent English and indicate the phone calls will be required, even if not, be fast to request a replacement if there are repeated communication issues. Communication issues, that's a whole different subject. Number 2, I gave imprecise directions. I asked him to schedule interviews, but didn't indicate that it was for an article. He assumed, based on work with previous clients, that I wanted to hire someone, and he misspent time compiling spreadsheets and combing online job sites for additional information I didn't need. Sentences should have one possible interpretation and be suitable for a second grade reading level. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. This goes for native speakers as well and will make requests clearer. $10 words disguise imprecision. Note that I asked him to respond if he didn't understand or had questions. This is the wrong approach. Ask foreign VAs to rephrase tasks to confirm understanding before getting started. Now, that's a good idea. I gave him a license to waste time. This brings us again to damage control. Request a status update after a few hours of work on a task to ensure that the task is both understood and achievable. Some tasks are, after initial attempts, impossible. 4, I set the deadline a week in advance. Use Parkinson's law, and assign tasks that are to be completed within no more than 72 hours. I've had the best luck with 48 and 24 hours. I paused to look at the date because I have some tasks to complete. All right. I was making sure I was still in my time frame. This is another compelling reason to use a small group, 3 or more, rather than a single individual who can become overtaxed with last-minute requests from multiple clients. Using short deadlines does not mean avoiding larger tasks, business plan, but rather breaking them into smaller milestones that can be completed in shorter time frames. Outline, competitive research, summaries, chapters, etc. Number 5, I gave him too many tasks and didn't set an order of importance. I advise sending one task at a time whenever possible and no more than 2. If you want to cause your computer to hang or crash, open 20 windows and applications at the same time. That's me. I've gotten better though. I'm down to 10. If you want to do the same to your assistant, assign him or her a dozen tasks without prioritizing them. Recall our mantra, eliminate before you delegate. What does a good VA task email look like? The following example was recently sent to an Indian VA whose results have been nothing short of spectacular. Dear Soul Mia, thank you. I would like to start with the following task. I need to find the names and emails of editors and of men's magazines in the U.S. For example, I like all these magazines. My God. Maxim, Stuff, GQ, have mercy, Esquire, Blender. I didn't know I was going to need a fan today. I sure didn't bring one. Okay. Who also have written books. An example of such a person would be A.J. Roberts, who is editor-at-large of Esquire. www.ajjacobs.com. I should have brought my notepad today and did some notes while we was doing this. Okay. Can you do this? If not, please advise. Please reply and confirm what you plan to do to complete this task. Deadline. Since I'm in a rush, get started after your next email and stop at 3 hours and tell me what results you have. Please begin this task now if possible. The deadline for these 3 hours and reported results is end of day, Eastern Time, Monday. Thank you for your fastest reply, Tim. Now we talking, Tim. That's cooking with grease right there, honey. Short, sweet, and to the point, clear writing and therefore clear commands come from clear thinking, think simple. In the next several chapters, the communication skills you develop with our virtual assistant experiment will be applied to a much larger and obscenely profitable playing field automation. The extent to which you will outsource next makes delegation look like finger painting. I like finger painting. Do y'all like finger painting? I like painting, period. Yes, finger painting, regular painting on the canvas, painting in some of these graphic designs, painting books. I like painting, yes. In the world of automation, not all business models are created equal. How do you assemble a business and coordinate all its parts without lifting a finger? How do you automate cash deposits in your bank account while avoiding the most common problems? It begins with understanding the options, the art of dodging information flow, and what we all call music. The next chapter is a blueprint for the first step, a product. That sounds like after 3 videos on chapter 8, I think it's 3 videos I didn't did. Might be. Yeah, I think so. This is the 3rd video. This was a long chapter. Sounds like we're coming to a close. All right. Go with the flow. Here's a flow chart of 4HWW from reader Jed Wood, who has used it for faster decision making, more output with less input, and more time with his wife and children. Oh, okay. Well, hold on. I'm blowing it up so I can present it on the screen to you all. This is not a download. I'm using an internet archive. Library. It pays to visit the library. I'm going to hold it up here a few moments. I want you to be able to get a screenshot in case you want to look at it later if you are following along. Okay? Thank you for tuning in, Love Tubers. We're going through the 4-Hour Work Week by Timothy Ferris, and we are about to round up Chapter 8, darlings. It's my third session for Chapter 8. Let's get to it. All right. Question and actions. Get an assistant, even if you don't need one. Develop the comfort of commanding and not being commanded. Begin with a one-time task project or small repetitive task, daily preferred. I advise using domestic help for language-intensive tasks and using foreign assistance in the early stages to improve the general clarity of your communication. Pick one from each group and get started. The following sites split up geographically are useful resources. Okay. U.S. and Canada, $20 an hour. I don't know what year this book was, but it's probably higher now. Okay. IAVOA.com, International Association of Virtual Office Assistants, global directory that includes the U.S. This is lovely. And then also CVAC.ca, Canadian Virtual Assistant Connection. Oh, where have you been my whole life? Canada, CANADINVA.net/files/VA-locator.html for Canada. Onlinebusinessmanager.com. Stop. Y'all don't know. I am looking at, oh my gosh. Really? North America and International. Now, I know why folks be going overseas. $4 an hour for an assistant. ELANCE.com, search virtual assistants, personal assistants, and executive assistants. The client feedback reviews on Elance enabled me to find my best VA to date who cost $4 an hour. I need some assistance. Similar marketplaces with positive reviews include Guru.com, GURU.com, and rentacoder.com, RENTACODER.com. India. Oh, okay. I see. So tryAskSunday.com, TRYASKSUNDAY.com, $20 to $60 per month for 24/7 concierge service, free 1-week trial, not per hour, per month. Ask Sunday is one of the sophisticated new kids on the personal outsourcing block. Their site was nominated the #2 website of the year in 2007 by Time Magazine. Just dial a 212 New York City area code and get routed to a well-spoken assistance in India and the Philippines. I use this service 80% of the time, as most tasks take less than 10 minutes to complete. For longer projects, there are teams available for $12 an hour. Wow. $15 an hour. B2kcorp.com. From Fortune 10 oil companies and Fortune 500 clients to Big Five accounting firms and U.S. congressmen, Brickwork can handle it all. This is reflected in the cost of this pure suit and tie operation, business only. No flowers for auntie. TaskEveryday.com. $6.98 an hour for a dedicated virtual assistant based in Mumbai, available via phone and email from the US, UK, and Australia. Must choose between 20 or 40 hours per week and pre-purchase hours. $6.25 an hour. YourmaninIndia.com. Just like that. Your man. That must be who I'm looking for. YOURMANININDIA.com. WMII handles both business and personal tasks and can work with you in real time. There are people on duty 24/7 and complete work while you sleep. English capability and effectiveness vary tremendously across VA, so interview yours before getting started or assigning important tasks. Important. Following the publication of the first edition of this book, there has been some complaints of lower quality and up to 4-week wait list to become a client. Ooh. Start small, but think big. This is number 2. Tina Forsyth. I hope that's how you say her name. Forsyth. An online business manager, high-level VA who helps 6-figure income clients achieve 7 figures with business model redesign, makes the following recommendations. Look at your to-do list. What has been sitting on it the longest? Ooh, child. Each time you are interrupted or change task, ask, could a VA do this? I hadn't thought about that. That's some good information right there. Examine pain points, what causes the most frustration and boredom. Here are a few common time consumers in small businesses with online presences: submitting articles to drive traffic to site and build mailing list, participating in or moderating discussion forums and message boards, managing affiliate programs, creating content for and publishing newsletters and blog postings, background research components of new marketing initiatives or analysis of current marketing results. Don't expect miracles from a single BA, but don't expect little either. Let go of the controls. Just a little bit, just a little bit. Don't assign crap tasks that end up consuming rather than saving time. It makes little sense to spend 10 to 15 minutes sending an email to India to get a price quote on a plane ticket when you could go do the same online in 10 minutes and avoid all the sequential back and forth. I looked at plane tickets last night. Jamaica. For 2 people, they're expensive. Well, I wouldn't say they're expensive. My budget has not reached that level yet. How about that? We won't say they're expensive. I haven't reached that level yet. They were like $800 for one person, and a little less than $15 for 2. So, and that was on the lower end of the scale. Yeah. Okay. But it only took me 10 minutes. It's always back outside your comfort zone. That is the entire point of the exercise. It is always possible to reclaim a task for yourself if the VA proves incapable. So test the limits of their capabilities. Remember, Brickwork suggestion: don't limit yourself. Identify your top 5 time-consuming non-work tasks and 5 personal tasks you could assign for sheer fun. Okay. Keep in sync scheduling and calendars. If you decide to have an assistant schedule appointments, this is number 4, and add things to your calendar, it will be important to ensure what you both see is updated. There are several options. BusySync.com, BUSYSYNC.com. I have 2 Gmail accounts, one private account for me and one for my assistant where general email is sent. I use BusySync to synchronize her Google Calendar with iCal Mac Calendar on my laptop. I have also used Spanning Sync, SPANNINGSYNC.com, successfully for the same purpose. WebEx Office, WEBOFFICE.com. Share your calendar online while masking personal appointments. Can be synchronized with Outlook. And often also offers document sharing and other assistant or team-friendly features. I suggest you compare this to synchronizing your Outlook with an assistant's Google Calendar. Comfort challenge. Oh, good. I got 10 minutes. I think I'm going to make it, y'all. Use the criticism sandwich 2 days a weekly. Chances are good that someone, be it a coworker, boss, customer, or significant other, does something irritating or as a subpar level. Rather than avoid the topic out of fear of confrontation, let's chocolate coat it and ask them to fix it. Once per day for 2 days, and each Thursday, Monday to Wednesday is too tense and Friday is too relaxed for the next 3 weeks. Resolve to use what I call the criticism sandwich with someone. It's called the criticism sandwich because you first praise the person for something, then deliver the criticism, and then close with topic shifting praise to exit the sensitive topic. Here's an example with a superior or boss with keywords and phrases in italics. Yo, Ma, oh, my bad. Hi, Mara, do you have a second? Sure, what's up? First, I wanted to thank you for helping me with the mealy worm account or whatever. I really appreciate you showing me how to handle that. You're really good at fixing the technical issues. No problem. You. Here's the thing. There is a lot of work coming down on everyone, and I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed. Normally, priorities are really clear to me, but I've been having trouble recently figuring out which tasks are the highest on my list. Could you help me by pointing out the most important items when a handful need to be done? I'm sure it's just me, but I'd really appreciate it, and I think it would help. I'll see what I can do. You. This means a lot. Thanks. Before I forget, last week's presentation was excellent. Do you think so? Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Into that conversation. Lifestyle design in action. The best times to send email. You suggested people check email only a few times a day. Here's a twist. I reply to emails when it's convenient, but I time it to arrive when it's also convenient for me. In Outlook, you can delay email delivery to any time of day. I didn't know that. Did y'all know that? For example, when I return emails at 3 p.m., I don't want my staff instantly zinging me responses or clarifying questions. This also prevents email chat, so I hit send, but it's delayed to arrive later in the evening or at 8 a.m. when my employees arrive the next day. That is how email was sent to me. It's mail, not a chat service. I need that for all my inboxes. I wonder if I got it. For the inboxes that I do have time to. That is beautiful. I had no idea. That was from Jim Larranaga. Jim. Jim, and the last name is Larranaga. That is the end. We made it. It was long, but it was delicious. Maybe that didn't sound right. Anyway, or maybe it did. I thank you for tuning in. We're going to start next on on Income Autopilot, Finding the Muse. I thank you so much for spending this lovely 35 minutes and 11 seconds with me, and I hope you have a magnificent rest of your weekend. Mwah! Take care.